Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to the first episode of Avalanche. Now, this project literally has no end goal. Like, honestly, the only thing stopping this project would be the place to build. I might run out of place, but I might not run out of creative ideas to fill the entire map up with houses and buildings or whatever. I just want to expand the city as much as I can. Of course, I won't take it extremely till the borders, as you can see. I will take it to very close to the borders, at least borders of the map, and this is going to be a huge city which can host a lot of population. I think I'm expecting the city to hold around 5 to 6 lakh of population, which is honestly a lot. So yes, the first thing I'm doing right now, as you can see, is making a giant interchange. Now the main motive to make this giant interchange was to get traffic flowing through the city without actually touching the grid. So I will be making a grid entrance to the south of this interchange, as you can see over there, and I'll have 3 different highways coming straight into downtown from here. 2 of them are already built, and I am building the 3rd one right now, as you can see. These 3 outside connections will be the ones which will serve the city for now, at least. I might add more later on. Once this is done, I think so what the main motive of the interchange is that the people who are coming from outside the city and who do not want to get into the city, they're just passing by, can use these highways, and they don't have to enter the city grid at all. They can go they can travel uninterrupted on these highways, and they can get going wherever they're heading towards. If you guys are worried about the size of the interchange, yes, this interchange is extremely huge, but don't worry, I will be placing roads between the highways itself. So as you can see, there's a lot of gap between the interchange, so I will be placing buildings over there. Not everywhere, but in most places where buildings can fit, and there will be small commercial buildings right under the flyovers, like wherever the buildings can fit. Those small single-storied commercial buildings will be fit under that. And I want all my highways to be elevated, especially the ones which are passing through the city. The rest of them are on the ground level itself, but once they come into the city, all the highways are elevated, because I don't want them interrupting the ground traffic. Already the city is going to host a huge population, because of which there'll be a lot of car traffic, which I will try to prevent by making good transit system, but we still have to take precautions. I cannot let my grid roads get crowded because of all the other highway traffic and all that. So this interchange will actually be very crucial for my especially for the traffic in the city. So as you can see right now, I'm raising the highways which I just created to actually match the height. The highways are going to be 12 meters high, because 12 meters seems very standard, and even the trucks can pass under them with a decent amount of height left. Now Move It mod has been such a blessing while making this, because I was not sure of the different heights of the different ramps. So some ramps are maybe 2-story high, or even 3-story high. So it's like a huge stack. It's not exactly a stack interchange, but there are quite a few. I think 5 or 6, not 5 or 6. I think 3 or 4 stacks in this minimum. So those 3 or 4 I wasn't sure about the 3 or 4 the heights of the 3 or 4 stacks. So Move It mod was just so helpful, moving all of them together and the height remaining relatively same. So like the height between one level of the interchange to the next level remained entirely same without any difficulty. So now you can see that I am actually building the grid. The grid is a pretty standardized size of the grid. I didn't want to make the blocks very big, because it will be extremely tough to fill, because I don't have so many buildings. Alright, I am very limited on assets. I mean, of course I have 900 assets subscribed or something, but they're still the building assets are still very limited. So I wanted to make very decently sized blocks. I didn't want to go crazy on the size, so I have chosen, I think these blocks are 25 by 25 each, 25 units, yes. The blocks are 25 by 25 units each, and one thing I noticed over here was that the road was connected directly to that 8-lane road which is down there. I didn't want that because that would cause unnecessary traffic because of the junctions and all the traffic signals. So what I did was I created like a small partial Cloverleaf interchange over here, as you can see. So this still serves very well. So what I have done is I've just changed that 8-lane road into highway. Yes, I've changed it into highway, a 2-lane highway coming in both directions, and I've connected the ramps to that itself, and I have banned U-turn from the junction where they actually meet the 8-lane road. So because they actually take U-turns from there, and which causes a lot of traffic. It just slows down the entire traffic which is coming with that high speed from the highway, and just stops suddenly, and it causes like a bottleneck over there. So what my actual plan with the downtown is that I will be building a 25 by 25 block radius, not 25 by 25 that, like there'll be 25 blocks completely, which will be the main downtown where the absolute tallest buildings are located over here. Then there will be like a one block layer around it, which will, not a one block, I think it's a 3-block layer around it, which will actually have the mid-rise, like the mid to high-rise buildings covered over there. Also there'll be not absolute tallest buildings, but there'll be slightly lower heighted buildings located over there. And once we're done with that, we will move outside towards the the main downtown transition area, which will actually feature the mid-rise to extremely low-rise high density residential buildings. So that is the plan going forward right now. I don't know how much am I going to stick to that plan, but yes, I hope that works out well. So as you can see right now, I am just lining up all my buildings together so that I can see the heights of the different buildings. And what I'm gonna actually do is that I'll just use move it to move the building into place, to actually place it in the grid. So as you can see, I've lined up all the buildings over here, and it's actually very easier lining it up like that, so that you can actually see the heights and you can place the buildings according to their heights, because it's tough to see the height of the building when you actually have them over there. And the one thing is that you can only see one building at a time, but over here you can see all buildings lined up together, and it'll be much more comfortable building. I really recommend doing that when you're trying to build a downtown with so many huge buildings. And what you're seeing me do right now is add ploppable asphalt on top of this building. This is the absolute tallest building in my city, and the place where it's being placed is the center of that 25 by 25 grid I told you. And this is also going to be the center of the entire city. So yes, the entire city is going to come to this point. This is the center of the city over here. So those ploppable asphalts were added because this is a snowfall map. Everything in this is white for one thing. Every rooftop, every station, every train top, like the roof of the trains, the roof of the cars, everything is going to be white. So to add a little identity, I thought this should be done. And as you can see, I've added those white floodlights over there, which actually give the building a little bit of an identity, which I really enjoy. Those lights actually give a little life to the building. So I think the building looks good. What do you guys think of this building? Let me know it down in the comments. Since this is the city center, I thought this requires a little detailing. I haven't gone into a lot of detailing. I've just added a few bushes and curb props over there. I think not the curb props, the curb network which I've used with beautiful looking trees on them. And later you will see that I've added residential buildings at the bottom of this huge tower. This is because as you can see, that building has no entrance right now. As you can see, it's just flat on the bottom. There's no doorway like seen on the sides of it. So to cover that up, I have actually used these residential buildings. I've merged it literally with this building to some height. I think that's like a 10-story building. So yes, these are the buildings which I've used, as you can see right now. And these buildings are honestly very nice. They look nice, and they will be serving as the entrance for the building. I mean, not literally the entrance, but just to show, like that's the entrance and that's the base of the building. And honestly, it looks very nice once it's done over here. Honestly, working with the snowfall map was so tough. Like, not because it's hard to build on it or something, but because of its beauty. Like, the snowfall map looks so beautiful that I can just leave the camera still at one place and then just get lost and just keep staring at it forever. Like, that's how beautiful this is. Like, Fluxtrans has done such an amazing job with this map. Like, I absolutely love this, and this is why I honestly chose this map to build with, because there's no other snowfall map which is as good as this and has as much buildable place either. So if you guys want to check this out and check this map out, you can probably go to the description and see this map is called Tamco Wilderness, made by Fluxtrans. So now I've actually started to build the transit hub of the city. This is going to be slightly outside the downtown, not in the park, not in the middle of the 25 by 25 block radius. This is actually outside that. This is actually included, I think, in the part of the 3 by like that 3 block radius I told you before. The outer one, which will have that high-rise buildings, but not the extremely tallest ones. So actually, these are the stations which are these are actually train station assets, but I'm using them as a metro station, using the metro overhaul mod. Again, a very helpful mod. So what my plan is that I am using this Utrix central station. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, I'm sorry if it's wrong, but this is a very beautiful asset. It's a huge station, as you can see, which hosts, I think, 12 to 16 platforms in this. I'm not sure of the exact numbers. You can actually check this, and it has trams in it, which I won't be using, honestly. This station is not actually white like over here. Again, like I said, every station, every building would be white in snowfall. It's actually a big blue looking blue colored station, which honestly looks very nice, and it's still nice. I mean, in white also, I genuinely like it, and the functionality is just really nice. I love this station asset, and whoever's the creator, if you're watching this, thank you so much for this. Now so the train stations will be the train will also be elevated in the entire city. It will not touch the ground at all. So the trains will be running on this 12-meter height, I think. Yes, the trains are running on 12-meter height, and I don't want the metro to be colliding with this either, and I don't want the metro to be on the ground. So the only option which remains is metro is going to be even higher than the trains. So the metro is actually on a 24-meter height. So I've raised this land over here by 12 meters. So once this land ends, it will become like a bridge section, not a bridge section, like an elevated section of the train tracks, and the metros will run over them. So 12 meters of the land, and then they're an elevated station. So that elevated station is actually 12 meters high from that ground level. So it's basically 12 plus 12, 24 meters high. Now 24-meter high is honestly not very weird to make, because in real life also the highest metro pillar which I know in India is 24 meters high. That's in Delhi. So I took an inspiration from there. I actually saw one of this place where there are two different metro lines passing each other from so there's this 12-meter one which is going from under, and the 24-meter one going above that. So it looks very nice. So I thought of using that over here as well. The train tracks I'm using over here are the Shinkansen tracks. These are again the part of the Shinkansen railway, the Japanese bullet train, and these tracks they look very nice. Honestly, they look very different from the regular tracks, especially when they're in the elevated. The ground ones look very similar to the ground tracks and the regular ground tracks, but the elevated ones look absolutely beautiful. These are high-speed train tracks, so we'll have extremely fast trains running on these tracks. I was actually looking for the quad tracks. Quad tracks are basically, instead of 2 tracks, we'll have 4 tracks on those. So those tracks are actually more efficient, because you'll have these. I will be able to make those express and local traffic trains run on different tracks. So the express trains will actually run on the center 2 tracks, and the local traffic will run on the outermost 2 tracks. So those quad tracks are actually there in metro. Again, courtesy to the metro overhaul mod. But I wanted those tracks in trains as well, but there were no such assets. I kept on looking up for them, but I never found anything. Anyways, so these were the tracks of my choice as of now. As you can see, that's the train station. It's extremely huge, and most of it is pre-built. I just have to join the tracks up again, and that is what. So the train, those elevated metro stations which I've placed are only will service that side of the city. The other side of the city will be served by 3 other metro stations which are made on this side of this train station. So I've made it on both the sides. You know, I like things very symmetrical and all that. And using keys, of course, keys are so helpful, giving a sharp edge to all these land which you have raised over here. It's just absolutely helpful, and it makes your city look clean. Honestly, it looks very clean. As you can see, it gives a nice sharp edge to the entire thing, and it's absolutely beautiful. And the train vehicle assets which I have used in the city is the ICE, the German ICE. Those are extremely good looking trains. I honestly love the design of the German ICE, especially the new ones, the ones which I am using right now. And if you have seen it in real, I want to see it in real life. Like honestly, if I ever go to Germany, I will actually sit in one of those, because they're just one of my favorite trains all over the world. Now I've made this neat separation between the concrete. Yeah, the concrete is black. It looks blackish, but it's actually kind of like a grayish shade over here. I genuinely like that. I mean, I have actually changed it. The actual one is a nice, good grey looking, very grey looking thing. Over here it looks very blackish because I honestly like that. I have actually changed it later, so you don't have to worry about that. So it's a very nice way of creating an exact border between the tracks. So the track area will obviously have gravel, because these tracks have gravel on the base, and they're not the concrete tracks. Yes, they are the gravel tracks itself. And the other side is concrete, where the cars will be parked and all that. So this is very nice. These ploppable concrete is a very nice way of, making a good sharp edge of that, and it looks very neat. Except for that one 8-lane road which is there at the entrance of the city, the entire city only uses these 4-lane roads. So these 4-lane roads are honestly perfect. I have changed the color of the lights because originally all the 4-lane roads in City Skylines have this yellowish orangish light, which I do not honestly like, which is why I have actually used these white colored street lights, which absolutely look amazing. White color is just, I mean, I know everything is white, but when that white color actually falls on the street, it looks beautiful. If I have any night videos of this thing, I might even put it in the videos, and you will be able to see how much different and alive it looks. So I want to talk about 2 things before I go further into this episode. I mean, we're already halfway through, but still, yes. Is the 2 things which I want to talk is the global lighting settings. Yes. Now, snowfall maps usually tend to be darker than the normal boreal or the tropical maps like I used in Codex City. So Ultimate Eye Candy was so much more helpful, because the brightness you see right now is actually the normal, not the normal brightness. Like it looks normal right now. Before it was actually very dark before I used Ultimate Eye Candy on it. And Ultimate Eye Candy is extremely important if you're trying to build something like this. If you're trying to build a snow city or something like that. And the second thing is the LUT. Now everything in the city is white for one thing, so you can't exactly get a very good looking LUT over here. I used relight mod over here. I might share the settings on my Instagram or probably in one of my videos itself coming up soon. So the problem with getting good LUT was that I had to test different settings: the brightness, the temperature of the sun, the moon temperature, the moonlight, the twilight shades, everything. And if I increased any one of those settings too much, suddenly my entire snow would look green or orange or blue and whatnot. I've spent around 5 hours just looking for a proper LUT, and so the custom LUT was made in relight, and the pre-built LUT was again a relight LUT, I think, it's relight natural or neutral, I'm not sure. It's Byronic 69. So that is the one which I would recommend everyone else to use as well. Yes, it was of course a very crucial thing, because getting a snow city to look good is extremely important, because you don't want any random weird looking shades in your city. Like I said, those blue, green and orange shades were just a pain, but I'm happy I got a good looking LUT now. And just a final thing, your relight mod, your ultimate eye candy mod, your post process FX, sun shafts and daylight classic are extremely crucial visual mods, graphic mods, to get a perfect snow city. Honestly, trust me, I have actually researched about this a lot. I've tried different combinations as well. I've got, and these are the results I've honestly got. And if you want to listen to more people, you can watch Fluxtrance's Avalon. He has done pretty much the exact same thing. In fact, even I watched Avalon before I actually started making my own city. So I listened to Flux speak about this problem over there, and I'm mentioning that exact same problem here as well, because that's the same problem even I faced. Okay, getting back into this episode, one thing which was very tedious was getting these tracks right. Now you can see these tracks are being very glitchy when you try to actually merge them, and honestly it could not get more annoying. Like there's this weird blue thing going on over there, as you can see. Even it does not go with the surface painter, so I actually don't focus on that a lot, because once you zoom out it's technically not visible. Only if you have like a close-up, that might be a little problem, but I think you can deal with it in the most parts. Also guys, I've made a Spotify playlist of all the songs which I use in my videos. Everyone says that the songs are really nice, so I decided why not make a Spotify playlist and share it with the rest of the people as well. So you can actually see the link to the Spotify playlist in the description below. So this was one thing which I was not able to make. It wasn't very symmetric. This was because the tracks which are there on the left, those end platform tracks, are actually further away from the main through tracks, so I had to actually connect them after they leave the main station area, which I did not enjoy a lot, but yeah, it was okay. I mean, I somehow got that to be fine, and I just upgraded all of this to that bridge section thing, and I had to raise them a lot because they were weirdly into the ground, and it honestly looked very bad. And then I just smoothed them out, so it looks like there is like a. So I have, by the way, I've put even these ground tracks, I've upgraded them to the elevated version, because it looks like they look like a barricaded track, so they look like bullet train lines, like extremely high speed trains will be traveling, so you don't want anyone crossing through that. That's how it honestly looks. Okay, so now it's time to mention problem number 2 with snowfall: parking lots. Oh god, it was a pain. So what the problem which was happening with parking lots was, these were fine, but when you go and place those parking lot props, those they aren't actually props, they are buildings itself. So the game actually, they should be props honestly, but the game considered it to be building, and it just keeps like a snow layer over that, like a layer of snow, because like I said, every building actually has this snow layer on top of it in snowfall. So like I said, the game considers this as well as this as a building, so it just adds snow on top of that as well, and they do not look like parking lots at all. They just look like a heap of snow left out over there, like those snow plows just ran through the city and just dumped all the snow over there. I did not want that to happen, so instead of that I just added these garages, these parking garages. These look much better honestly, and they were a very good option and a good looking asset as well. And I've added that intercity bus station over there. Yes, it is the central transit hub, so all the different types of transit will come into this place. Your metros, your trains, your intercity buses, your normal city buses will come here, and you can take any of the other means of transport to get anywhere in the city you want. By the way, while you're watching all this, I still haven't finished the downtown. I still have to place the rest of the buildings. I've only made the tallest building in the city. I have not placed any other building in the entire thing till now. Okay, so we're finally done with the transit hub. Now we will be finally getting back to the downtown. Now we'll be placing the rest of the buildings. So the one thing I noticed was that placing too many of these tall buildings together makes it look very weird. So that's the reason I started placing them from outside. As you can see, I start from the most outermost part of the grid, and I'm working my way through the inside. So I've taken the absolute tallest buildings after the main tower and placed them first. A few of them I've actually placed next to them, only like one or two of them. I don't want all of them near it because it'll look very weird. The rest of them are, so all these assets are extremely well detailed and they look very beautiful. Thank you to all the creators for making these assets. They're extremely nice. And I actually used the cinematic camera extended mod over here so that I can see how my city will actually look like in cinematics, because getting beautiful cinematics is one of my favorite tasks while playing City Skylines. And yes, so these buildings you see, these are the buildings which are the absolute tallest ones after of course the main tallest building of the city. And then there are these medium heighted buildings which I am using. I wouldn't say medium, they're still tall compared to what the actual medium heighted buildings are. And by the way, unlike Codex City, I won't be only placing the taller buildings. I will be placing every single building by my own, at least in the downtown as of now. So in the downtown I will be placing every single building by myself. I will not be zoning at all. Like in Codex City, I just placed the ones which were, the main important buildings, and then I zoned the rest, but I will not be doing that here. So it is going to be a slow moving project compared to that, honestly. So like if Codex City is around like 15 episodes, this might be 20-25. I'm not sure how long this is going to be exactly, but that's the approximate length I'm expecting. And of course dynamic resolution also made the images sharper, like you don't have those weird jaggedy ends of the building, which it looks very cheap, but this honestly looks nice. Dynamic resolution is a must-have mod, honestly. One thing I absolutely love doing in any city, not only in city, in any place I build, is surface painting, because I just take the surface painter mod and start painting the entire area in this nice pavement concrete thing. And right now it looks black. Right now it will look extremely weird, as you can see, like especially when there are no buildings. But once I have the buildings in the place, it won't even honestly be very visible. So it will be visible sometimes in the gaps between those buildings and all that, but not so visible that it looks weird. And so this is the skeleton structure of the downtown, as you can see in front of you right now. This is what the downtown will look like mainly, even after the rest of the buildings are added, because those are going to be the small ones. Obviously you don't really need it, and I just removed these last few buildings because I didn't really need those. I placed a few of these unique buildings which come with the city itself, and I placed this nice good looking hotel over there, which I always wanted to use, because you look at the design of it. It just honestly looks beautiful. You cannot say no to using that. So this is the final look of the downtown with all the major buildings placed. Now from the next episode onwards, I will start building every single block. So I'll start from the bottom and I'll work my way onto the top. So this is all about the transit center in the downtown and the interchange. I hope you like that interchange. Let me know what you think about the interchange down in the comments. So we're at the end of this episode. If you all enjoyed this episode, give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button to watch more. You can follow me on my socials down in the description to get more news about the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.